During the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Red Bull Racing driver Max Verstappen was hard on the tail of Sergio Pérez through the streets of Baku. On P1 and P2, they were 20 seconds faster than Charles Leclerc. However, team advisor Dr Helmut Marko issues a warning. The competition has become more intense. Red Bull does not appear to have anything to fear from the other teams in 2023, especially after last weekend. At this point, just the drivers, Verstappen and Perez, must compete to see who will win the driver's title. Despite Red Bull's dominance during the race, Marko did not appear that comfortable. The Austrian claims that the competition has not been inactive. After the race, the Austrian told German Sky, "They came closer, not just Ferrari. Fernando Alonso was extremely strong in the race. He was only held up because of his 6th starting position." The growth of the other teams and the narrowing of Red Bull's lead did not come as a surprise to Marko. It was to be expected, and it will also get worse for us as the season progresses. We are very limited in our wind tunnel time, and because of the regulations combined with the penalty, we're counting on the rest to come closer, Marko said. Verstappen and Perez may yet face some difficult battles against other teams later in the season. But they aren't sitting still either, as Red Bull still has time and money to improve little bits of the RB19. Thus far, the Red Bull development path is a wise progression. Its latest update had no effect on the cooling airflow rate, but it did increase the undercut washing. Because the downforce is shifted, there was a need to change something on the edge of the floor. There will most likely be a much better tuning job in Miami. With the budget restriction, it will be tough to return to that region. Are you expecting Red Bull to receive any threat during the Miami Grand Prix weekend? And will these minor upgrades bring an even further advantage to Red Bull? Or are they, as Helmut Marko says, being chased? But there is one team that will be bringing the big guns in Miami, as Ferrari will launch a big development initiative. After the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, team boss Frédéric Vasseur confirmed those plans. In doing so, the team intends to build on the positive momentum from the Baku race, albeit Vasseur admits that fighting Red Bull is out of the question for the time being. Ferrari was able to recapture some of last season's form in Baku. Charles Leclerc took pole position in both the sprint race and the Grand Prix, finishing on the podium in both. It indicated that Ferrari has improved slightly since the beginning of the season. The squad intends to maintain this pace in the coming races. Vasseur confirmed that Ferrari will carry out changes soon. The next race in Miami will serve as the launch pad for that new trajectory. More upgrades will be carried out in the stages over the coming weeks, with a focus on what the race weekend allows. So races that involve a sprint or are not particularly suited to development, Vasseur specifically mentioned Monaco as an example of the latter, will only see a minor upgrade, whereas other races will see a larger package of improvements. Vasseur, on the other hand, remains optimistic about the team's possibilities. Although Ferrari was able to challenge Red Bull for the first time this season, Vasseur believes that a comeback should not be celebrated too soon. Overall, they were faster than us, and we don't have to bullshit ourselves, the team boss acknowledges. I think so far what is obvious is that we are struggling with consistency. It's true this weekend, all over the lap, all over the corners, and all over the race. While waiting for the expected updates on the Ferrari SF23, which will be introduced starting next weekend, and especially in Imola and Barcelona, the work of understanding the car and refining the setup has resulted in progress, which was already visible in Melbourne. The work on the heights from the ground was critical to achieve greater consistency between qualifying and the race. Ferrari will need to seek proof on more compelling tyre wear courses such as Miami. Red Bull is on another planet when the race comes, said Charles Leclerc after the race. On the flying lap, we can play it, but on 51 laps, it's not possible. They have much more race pace than us. Something seen, reviewed, read and reread from the Belgian Grand Prix last season. In short, when the famous Technical Directive 39 went into effect, it effectively killed the promising Ferrari F175 project, while simultaneously slowing down the current Italian car. Ferrari SF23. Work has been done to reduce the difference in heights from the ground used in qualifying, and that in the first part of the race, Frédéric Vasseur achieved his first podium result in Baku since taking over the Maranello team. I can only be very happy. It was a good weekend with 2 poles and a podium. We've taken a step forward. In terms of performance, the French TP was correct in emphasising how the gains were already seen in Melbourne. The difference is that we didn't get any points in Australia, which is what counts. He was then questioned in the post-race news conference where these improvements came from, with a lot of work done by the Maranello team technician since Jeddah. He didn't want to go into too much information about the new technological philosophy he was using in the setup and development of the SF23. "Do you think I'll give you the answers?" he asked with a smile on his face. Since the Australian Grand Prix, Ferrari has improved its understanding of the car, which was aided by the introduction of a new fund, previously only known in Saudi Arabia, which was then used on both cars from Melbourne, allowing aerodynamic hopping or porpoising to be eliminated. Let's elaborate on what the Italian team technicians improved and modified in terms of setting up the SF23, i.e. this new technological mindset. After carefully analysing the data obtained in the first two races of the season, they realised in Maranello that their car ran substantially higher in terms of ground clearance in the race than in qualifying. The weight provided by more than 100 kilograms of petrol on board was insufficient to compensate for a significantly slower turning speed, ranging from 10 to 30 kilometers an hour, depending on the kind of bend, with a full fuel tank, making vertical forces that crush the car down much less essential. Turning higher in corners is a significant disadvantage with this generation of cars, since it means producing significantly less downforce from the undercarriage, resulting in slippage and tyre wear. After understanding, the team at Maranello focused on the mechanical setup, particularly stiffness, in order to bring the heights from the ground closer together between qualifying and the early half of the race. Even considering a change in who supplies the rear suspension shock absorbers. We will be bringing updates from Miami. However, it's not just about the updates, it's also about how well you use your package. "We have concentrated on this in recent weeks, and we have done it well," said a satisfied Frederic Vasseur at the end of the GP. It's no surprise that the Ferrari SF23 moves slowly, especially when the tank is full. Clearly, the advances, first in comprehension and then in setup, are not remarkable, but they allowed us to unlock a portion of the untapped potential in the first two rounds. Honestly, I think we've improved a bit, but when I see the gap to the Red Bulls, I think they haven't pushed all the way. So I don't really know how much we managed to recover, stated Charles Leclerc after the race. "The feeling is better, but the Aston Martins also proved to be very fast today, so we still have a lot of work to do." Ferrari is working hard to enhance the car's coherence between qualifying and racing, as shown not only against Red Bull, but also against Aston Martin and Mercedes. I think Red Bull has found something that we haven't found yet. All our attention is here at the moment. In Maranello, everyone is working hard to try and understand what we can do better in the race, above all to get more performance, continued the Monegasque. The upgrade package that will be provided between Imola and Barcelona should help the Reds take another step forward in this area. Will Ferrari be able to challenge with further upgrades? Can they make a statement at the Miami Grand Prix? Let us know in the comments below. But how are Ferrari going to improve further? Well, since many are leaving the team, they're on the lookout for new talent. And have found some. They're based at the direct competitor. "We're on the market, but we will speak in due course." Frederic Vasseur provided a clear message during the press conference preceding the Baku weekend. There are key players in the Ferrari organisation chart who have left the team, but others who will come shortly to bolster Maranello's technical department. It will not be a minor acquisition. Vasseur has his sights set on more than 10 technicians, including 2 senior Red Bull figures. Enrico Balbo, the Milton Keynes team's aerodynamic manager, is leading the hunt for the identity of the 2 Red Bull engineers. He is a strategic person given the knowledge he holds. The figure of the second engineer, on the other hand, has been at the focus of a search for the name that has been going on for days, because many speculations indicate he is one of the technicians who had a crucial part in building up the fearsome DRS system, which constitutes one of the RB19's main weapons. The enigmatic figure has already arrived in Maranello and appears to be aiding in the creation of the SF23. It is reported to be Pierre Wash, which is seen as an even more important figure for the Red Bull team. Do you think Ferrari will be able to recruit these great minds from Red Bull? Or will they try to stay at the current world champions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next video.